All right, so today we are here at Club Twilight up in Buxtonian.
Amsterdam. I think I only get 3 Polari.
wings of fire to correct his lost sons. Her children pledge each faithful heart to guard Guyana's lands, to foil the shock of rude invaders who violate her earth, to cherish and defend forever the state that gave them birth. We'll forge a nation's mighty soul, construct a nation's faith. Freedom our everlasting goal, courage and truth our aim. All yielding in our quest for peace, like ancient heroes brave, to strive and never cease, with strength beyond the slave. Guyana plant the glorious virtue, faith, prosperity, joining the universal search for worldwide community. Your people must surrender greed, then you are polity, with one forever changing great nation's unity.
Marching towards the shining future, courage high, the past is gone. Overcoming fear and counting mountain glory, sun and stone. The storm goes dark and glory, through face like a flash and flame. One republic of Guyana, glorify Guyana's name. Forward, youthful nation, rang with power the husband's might. May his strength forever gratitude strive, unceasingly for right. From Guyana's base consolate, to white sovereign states that reign, give thy people, dear Guyana, strong, united, loyal, free. My Guyana, my Guyana, my Guyana, my Guyana, Eldorado, rest of all the world away. In my heart wherever I wander, memory enshrined thee. All my hopes and aspirations, all my longings, only tie everlasting bonds around us as the fleeting years roll by. My Guyana, Eldorado, my Guyana, time's unfolding and for my destiny, to redeeming lasting splendor, for years and lost to me. And the dawning of thy glory, for the long, long night is past. Oh, arise, triumphant, glorious, from the ashes of the past. Oh, arise, triumphant, glorious, from the ashes of the past. Looking out upon the deep, the great Atlantic rolled into a fury. For a sea at morn, at noon, or measuring the crimson sunset's glow. I love thee, I love thee, I love thee. Oh, oh, beautiful Guyana, oh, my lovely native land. To me that all the world I see was this round. Pour down upon the borders, pushing out upon the deep, the great Atlantic flowed into a fury. Flowed into a fury. For a sea, at morn, at noon, or measuring the crimson sunset's glow. I love thee, I love thee, I love thee.
Guyana, I want to serve my country. Guyana, beautiful, happy, and free. Guyana, let's cooperate with our government to help develop Guyana the free. Together, my comrades, we will build our new Guyana, a country where all are equal opportunity. So let us begin now to show loyalty to Guyana by showing love and respect for all that it needs.
My brothers, my sisters, we will live and die here together. Come on to one people, one nation, one destiny. For harmonious living, cooperation will be forever. In work and play as we live as strong entities.
Guyana, I want to serve my country. Guyana, beautiful, happy, and free. Guyana, let's cooperate with our government to help develop Guyana the free.
Well, it's like we said, all the rations in the interior, our natural resources are there in great quantity. And we will do farming and establish towns by the border. With global food so we could fill all their needs.
My greatest desire is to serve my country, Guyana, and sincerely help my Guyana to move along. Our government asks us, and we study hard and we learn the things that will help Guyana to become strong. Guyana, I want to serve my country. Guyana, beautiful, happy, and free. Guyana, let's cooperate with our government to help develop Guyana the free. To help develop Guyana the free. We sing of Guyana in village and town. We pledge our allegiance as already known. United together, our strength we will show, and build a new Guyana, a land of renown. We love you, Guyana, blessed you be. Our flag we will honor, our motto uphold. Inspired by our leaders, our destiny will mold, and proudly face the future, undaunted army. With humble hearts and heads held down, in thanks for each new day of toil, we bow before thine altar, Lord, the children of Guyana's song. Great is the task that thou hast given, thy will to show, thy truth to find. To teach ourselves that we are one in thy great universe of light. Woods not in vain we strive to live, a new Guyana great and free, a land of glory and of hope, a land of love and unity. O children of Guyana, rise, rise up and sing with happy tears, and bless the land that gave you birth, and vow to serve her through the years.
All right, so today we are here at Club Twilight up in Buxton, and we are here to talk about all that's going on up here. Trust me, if you are on the East Coast, you're in Buxton, you're in Tongue, you're looking for a place to get away to, this is the place. The Cutters, mwah. Listen, I'll be having some just now again. We'll talk about that. And then, of course, the ambience is beautiful, fully air conditioned. The decor is on point. The music's on point. Everything's on point. It's just me. I need some work. But everything else that belongs to this club here is on point. So if you want to find a nice little place where you can just drive out of town and have some drinks, have some food, you can call, you can order your stuff and just take it. You don't have to stay. Or if you want to stay here, that's what's up. And of course, they have special events for Valentine's. You can rent a hall. You can rent a hall, honey. You can rent a hall for weddings, for birthday parties, to have a bash. I hope he edits that out. But you know, whatever it is, this is definitely the place to be. So it's on Sideline Dam. You definitely want to ensure that you check this place out. But it's on your to-do list. All right, on your to-do list. This is definitely the place to check out, you know, a really cool, chill spot here in Buxton. I like this. This is, Buxton needed this. We needed this. I needed this. You definitely needed too. Thank you. All right, so you might be wondering where we are. Still in Buxton at Club Twilight. That's where we are. So Club Twilight also has like an Airbnb as well. So you could come, drink, drunk, and come in the back here and lie down. Look at that. Look at that. Perfection. And the people come in the room and so on. The bed sheet matching the blind, matching the carpet, matching the this, matching the that. We know but we things in Buxton don't play with we. So definitely if you want to come and, you know, you may be having a wedding or whatever and you just want to overnight and just have a good time because you're going to be drunk, we got too much road accidents. So you definitely want to come drink, have a good time. They have several rooms that you can rent. You have your toilet, you have your bath, you have your sink, you have your dining area, you have the bed. This is nice. I like it. Anyways, to my friends and my family, if you're looking for me, I'll be overnighting. Also, for those persons who are traveling in from overseas, you want a nice, cozy place out of town, then Club Twilight, call them up, look them up on social media. They have their own Facebook page, and ensure that you come up the side and have a good time. Have a good time. Have a good time. Sorry. I'm sorry. That's it.
To Amsterdam, I think I only get 3 Polari. You see, when the function finish, right? The egg ball keep them people in it. Oh my goodness. And it's like, so we got a whole tub of sauce. It's like, let's have a little Mr. Amsterdam. Everything shine, shine, shine. I haven't gotten to taste anything because, like I said, I just eat 3 Polari. Everybody complimented the stuff. It was tasty. All of them munch down and come back and load up. Certain places you can go and get proper stuff, but the sauce is more than enough. I appreciate the variety options.
At Lou's Kitchen, it's no idle boast. Call us for the best in Creole food. 653-3205. Lou's, the original Creole chef. You can get meat anywhere, but for the best cuts of chicken, beef, pork, mutton, and lots more, check out T and W Harris Butcher Shop located in the East Rheinveld Market Meat section. Call us on 609-7168, 641-4494. Ask for Rastaman. T and W Harris Butcher Shop for the best in fresh cut meats and lots more. Are you hosting an event? Do you need ice, party ice in large or small quantities? Then call us at 622-5933 for the best party ice available. $1,000 per bag. We do delivery. EC Crystals, Sideline Dam, Buxton North. Call to have your orders filled today.
They're gonna know we told them.
Hey, morning. Welcome to another program of Guyanese Morning Time. It is 14 minutes past the 7 o'clock hour on the 5th day of September in the year 2025. How you been? How was you yesterday? How was your last night? How are you keeping tonight? How are you keeping today? What are your projections? How do you see the day unfolding? How do you see the next few months, few years, few mornings unfolding in this country for you? Talk to me. I say, you know. I see. I have my own projection as to what to expect. So I'm asking for your projections. Some people don't like truth. Normally, like I said, I wasn't going to be broadcasting this morning, but we didn't have the benefit of Mr. Winston Jordan, and we didn't have a stake on the outcome of the elections and all of that for the week. And so yesterday, because I had to go to GCOM, I committed to go to GCOM yesterday to assist in the recount as an agent of the APNU. I couldn't be in studio to bring him on and so on and so forth. And since today is a holiday, we decided that we were going to do that today. That's so you can expect Mr. Jordan. But like I said, there's some preliminary stuff that I would share with you. I started telling you about GCOM and the recount and so on. I spent at least 8 hours down there yesterday. the rate at which they were counting, in 8 hours, I think we did about 4 boxes. It means that each box is taking about 2 hours to do. We are talking about 25 tables working, right? The 25 tables working. And instruction basically is we will not stop until it's completed. Y'all could do the maths. 391 boxes, I think the focus is on. 391 boxes. Good. What I asked myself, quite frankly, what is the point of going through that exercise? What is the point of going through that exercise? Verifying what? What are we verifying? When the verification starts, this is what comes to you. The poll, we call them the ballot box. Ballot box comes with the necessary envelopes inside. P7 and 8. Yeah, that's all. Election results PE7 and 8. Valid votes, rejected votes for national, both national and regional. Valid votes, rejected votes, both national and regional. That is what comes, you know. And from the outside of that box comes the statement of poll. The statement of poll is not at the end of the electoral process folded and placed into the ballot box. It is transmitted to GCOM physically. So there's no statement of poll in the ballot box. So when the ballot box comes to you, the statement of poll is then handed over at the table. Okay? When you go into that ballot box now, you basically open the envelopes to verify their content. In that process, you might find a ballot which was deemed rejected becomes a ballot which is now deemed valid based on the arguments of the people around the table and who got the strongest say and who is more pro-government than not. So take, for example, the rules that I know for an election says your ballot has to be stamped with a 6-digit number, one at the top, one at the bottom, because the ballot is usually divided into 2 sections. Top is general and bottom regional. When the ballot is opened, and I saw yesterday, for example, there was a ballot with a stamp that you couldn't recognize what the 3rd digit is. And so if there's a 6-digit stamp, and I can't recognize any digit in that third, in that 6, presumably 6 digits that are there, is that a valid ballot? Has it conformed to the 6 digits being visible? It says 1 stamp at the top, 1 at the bottom. I've seen ballots with 3 and 4 stamps on them. Is that in keeping with the rules set out? We are told consistently, even by GCOM's education officers and so on, do not let your X touch the box, the corners of the box. Ensure you put your X in the center of the box. That is the rule established. But at the recount, you're told the X could be on the symbol, the X could be at the side of the symbol, the X doesn't have to be in the box. You're told that 3 stamps at the back of a ballot are acceptable. In the instance where I can't recognize the entire 6-digit, I'm told that is a valid ballot because where it would have come from, where it could have come from, again, among all the others, so it had to be, it got to come from the same set, it's valid. A very critical question in my mind that I ask is, because when they take out this ballot, they say official stamp, which is supposed to be the 6-digit, then they tell you who the vote is for. I ask, how do I verify that the stamp at the back there is the official stamp? Where is the stamp that was used on election day to show me that the 6 digits behind this ballot are the 6 digits that were actually generated on election day? Is it right 6 digits because all the ballots got it? All the ballots got it, so it's the right 6 digit. Is similarity authenticity? Is similarity authenticity? The voters list where voters were struck off was not present. So what are we sitting there doing? Just going through ballot boxes and counting the content and verifying that the count in the boxes are accurate, is accurate. I find it, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I see there are lots of videos and photos now on the internet saying that a lot of the ballot boxes were tampered with because the party seals and so on have been broken. But we still going in those boxes to count the content, eh? I got a report from a young man the other day who was in one of the polling stations that I worked. I think I mentioned it yesterday. Came to my gate and said GCOM called him, or he was called to report to GCOM. And when he got there, he found out that the poll statement that they signed off on was not a poll statement that the presiding officer submitted to GCOM. Are you understanding that? So in this instance, an electoral fraud took place. But GCOM has not announced to this nation that an electoral fraud took place by this presiding officer. GCOM has not announced that this presiding officer was made to be arrested by the police and will face charges according to the amendments to the Representation of the People's Act. And you will not hear that because he's Indo-Guyanese, he's a representative. Well, I can't say well, he is a representative of the PPP if he submitted a fraudulent poll statement to benefit the PPP. From where I sit and listening to the reports of the European Union and other international observers, I mean, I don't trust them, I don't like them, I ain't give them no credibility, but even some people we don't give credibility to have said these elections could not have been free and fair. It is not just what happened on election day, but what happened leading up to election day, or what happened immediately after election day. They couldn't be free and fair. It's not I say that. The observers said it. I think it is the same EU that points out that Guyana needs biometrics. I've been saying for quite a while now, so much has happened. There have been so many questionable things surrounding the elections that I believe you can go to court and have it vitiated. Save and except that the PPP not so long ago made appointments to the judiciary that leave me timid to even approach the judiciary because I don't expect rulings in keeping with the laws of this country, but what are rulings in keeping with political activism on the bench. So I really am asking, what are we really going through these processes for? What are we really going through the processes for? When, for example, the DSR, Deputy Supernumerary Returning Officer, these are the people who are manning the tables. The assistants to the Supernumerary Returning Officer. When they make a decision at the table, and the PPP agents have a problem with that decision, and they rail up and they rile up and they make noise and they get this supernumerary officer to come to the table. For the most case, the supernumerary officer overrules the decision of the DSRO who is manning the table. Right? There was this particular case. It was a vote for the PPP. I can't remember if it's the same one with the invisible digit. But the DSRO was the first person who said, yeah, it's the same one. I can't recognize the digits on this thing. I can't recognize all the digits in it. So the DSRO was in agreement with me. That the official stamp, namely 6 digits, legible digits, if I can call them that, should be at the back of the ballot. It wasn't there because at least one of them wasn't identifiable. But then the SRO came in all of the contentious arguments and so he said it's a valid ballot. Where else it could have come from? And with my insistence, he told the DSRO, put Q on it and put it where it's supposed to go. At the end of the process, Q was placed on it, meaning it was queried, it was questioned, but it was still declared a valid ballot. What really and truly, I'm asking, what really and truly, they got people losing sleep over? What really and truly, they got, the whole of GCOM is PPP from top to bottom. At least the rules are being interpreted to benefit the PPP from top to bottom. So when you partake in this process, at the end of the day, you'll come out and say, listen, there was a recount. All the party had representatives there. There was nothing untoward found. And so the process is a legitimate process. A process which was rigged from the inception, quite frankly. And so then the opposition has no recourse but to sit back and accept it. I am saying, listen, to me, an approach should be made to the courts to injunct any swearing in of anybody until they have had a forensic examination of the election that we had on the 1st of September. I think according to the laws of Ghana, the chancellor can take up the seat of perhaps acting president and oversee everything that has to be overseen in this country. I am calling on the members of the armed forces to put the interests of this nation first. Recognize first and foremost, there's no minister of anything in this country right now. Say, I'll stop calling people minister this and minister that. There's no minister of anything in this country right now. The only person who has a legitimate kind of standing in this country at this moment is the president. Because until the declaration and swearing in of another president and so on, the president stays in office. Maybe out of a doctrine of necessity or whatever they want to call it. But y'all need to do something about this. The people of this nation need to take the streets. The people of this nation need to take the streets in the millions. We ain't got so much, but you never know. The PPP manufacturing people out of the old work. So we need to take the streets in our millions and demand that there is no going forward until there is a forensic audit of this election, or better yet, a new one. Because I have no trust, there's no credibility in this farce that we had for an election. And you know what else dawned on me? I don't think there are enough thugs, as I might want to call it, and scrapes, as we are made to call it, agents, provocateurs, as we call it, that the PPP can get access to disrupt protests now. I don't think the PPP has that control over the dispossessed like they had previously, where they could have gone out, buy strong and buy them and send them to disrupt legitimate process and then blame it on the protesters. Because you know what? A lot of those dispossessed people have awoken. They have aligned themselves to the Win Party. At least that's my understanding. They have aligned themselves to the Win Party. So if you all say that they were thugs and so on, the person who perhaps has a monopoly on them now is a person who is contesting these elections and a person who is challenging the results of these elections. So the PPP ain't got access to buy them, to send them to disrupt any protests. They're likely to follow the instructions, follow the guidance of their political leader, Azudin Mohammed. So here is my call to protest. I can't say if it's a safer, I can't say it's a safer environment, but I want to believe there is more control over the variables of this disruption. Because the doggies and this body and the so-called influencers and so on, who the PPP could have previously bought out and send into African Guyanese and South Georgetown communities and depressed communities and say, we got the bread for your boys, let it go there and just create havoc. So we could blame the opposition. They are now in a more quote-unquote formal setting. And they are fighting against the very ills the opposition used to be fighting against. So I think there can be a joining of forces. Occupy the streets of Georgetown. Occupy the streets of this country. And let the joint services, the armed services understand what their role is. Not to intimidate citizens out of the democratic expressions. But to defend the constitution of this country. That's what I want to tell you this morning. But I want to address somebody who said to me that my exhortations this morning, if I can call them that, are not good. Dynamic dimensions. Right? Dynamic dimension says that under pressure is when you just see, I want to say, the heart of a man. Good. And from where he is sitting, I must have a very black heart. My interpretation. Horrible stuff, Kidaki. Take a break, reflect, refresh yourself, and come again. It's the tough times that test men's souls, and your behavior right now is reprehensible as you condemn the poor behavior. Yeah, my behavior is reprehensible dynamic dimensions because I am speaking truth to our people. And it doesn't benefit you if I speak truth to our people. Don't worry this, guys. I've read your comments. Kidaki, respect the will of the people. Wake up and fight a good fight. You have done a great job. Maintain your dignity, integrity, and composure. Platitudes. Bro, there are many blacks who are representing even within the PPP. Just stop this foolishness. Right? Platitudes. Because you speak for the oppressor. And I have no shame in saying that. I've seen through you. You guys have to get back. You guys have to get back reform, get better, organize. The same anger you have now, let it drive you. You think I'm angry? Really think I'm angry? I'm not angry. And that's the thing. When a black man speaks his truth, everybody sees him as an angry black man. Yeah, there goes the angry black man. Right? There goes the angry black man. I am not angry. I'm not angry at all. All I'm doing is analyzing and pronouncing a system that is broken. And is breaking people into accepting it. That's all I can see it as. If you don't believe that I'm being factual or honest or straightforward in my discourses, yeah, listen to Rhonda Bob. She's not one of mine. I know if I ever liked the girl because of her whole outlook in life and stuff. But listen to her.
So I want now Melly Mel, Odessa Primus, and the whole bunch feel. Now y'all went against your own people. Your own people y'all went against. Imagine y'all destroyed your own party. I'm talking about PNC or APNU. Destroy, annihilated that party. The history of PNC in Guyana cannot be erased. Okay? They got good and bad history. We got good and bad times with them. But I sit down last night and I said, I would have never thought that I would live to see the day where their own people would go against them and put a coolie man in opposition. And I wonder why I always did down, or why y'all always feel down, y'all have no loyalty. None. PPP, then always reign supreme. You want to tell you why? Because we loyal. We loyal. We don't jump ship. Not everything that glitters gold for we learned with Granger. All right? We learned that with Granger. We will never make that mistake again. Now look at y'all. Party no longer exists and it's done. And I put a coolie man in opposition for control. control IO. Why is it? Our coolies dogs. He could bite your mother's cunt now. Hey guys, good morning. How is everybody doing today? So I want how Melly Mel, Odessa Primus, and the whole bunch feel. Now y'all went against your own people. Your own people y'all went against. Imagine y'all destroyed your own party. I'm talking about PNC or APNU. Destroy, annihilated that party. The history of PNC in Guyana cannot be erased, okay? They got good and bad history. We got good and bad times with them. But I sit down last night and I said, I would have never thought that I would live to see the day where their own people would go against them and put a coolie man in opposition. And I wonder why I always there down, or why y'all always feel down, y'all have no loyalty, none. PPP, then always reign supreme. You want to tell you why? Because we loyal. We loyal. We don't jump ship. Not everything that glitters gold for we learned with Granger. All right? We learned that with Granger. We will never make that mistake again. Now look at y'all. Party no longer exists and it's done. And I put a coolie man in opposition for control IO. Control IO. Why is it? Our coolies dogs. He could bite your mother's cunt now. Hey guys, good morning. How is everybody doing today? So I want now Melly Mel, Odessa Primus, and the...
You heard that for yourself. Now I want to say this. I don't call Mr. Jordan. I did say this is a special program for Mr. Jordan. Right? There's so many things I can address on this program. Somebody is asking if on elections day they weren't agents present in the booth. Yes, they were agents. But again, the presiding officers were the presiding officers. They control the polling station. Hey, you really have to be very, very strong to deal with them. Because every single one of them, if you ask me, came directly from Freedom House. They were even prepared to argue and fight with the returning officer to defend the PPP. The first thing as an agent or an assistant agent, whatever my portfolio was on election day, I don't pay attention to titles, so yeah, forgive me. I just put on the badge and I walk through. First thing I recognize in majority of the polling stations at Monrepo Primary Health Center, Old Health Center, and Nursery. The poll stations were not set in keeping with GCOM's rules, in that when the voter goes into the poll booth, you're supposed to at least see their back. You don't want to see how they're voting, but you want to see their back, so as to ensure they won't be using a phone or etc. All of those booths, most of those booths, were set in such a way that a voter was facing the agents, and so you couldn't really see what was happening in the booths. And so I started pointing out immediately, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong. I want it fixed, otherwise I'm not going to stand up here till it fixed, etc., etc., etc. There was this particular Rastafarian girl, at least she had dreadlocks, that was prepared to fight, at least verbally, to keep it the way it was. I went and I got the returning officer, whoever he was that was responsible for the whole entire operation there. He came, he agreed, he changed it. And she had the temerity to adjust it to suit herself. I'm just showing you the difficulties you had in those polling stations. And so those maybe young people, inexperienced people self who were there fearful in the first place that they, young black girl, young black boy operating in a PPP stronghold, and you got PPP people up and down and in the returning officers against them and so on. It's like you're fighting 5 people in a police station, you alone. And so when they object to a vote, a ballot, and the presiding officer who has the final say, well, it's valid, it's valid, what else you could do about that? I had to leave the area to go to another community so that one of my agents could have voted before they closed the poll. When I came back, polls were closed already. And I met one of our representatives, or one of our agents outside of the gate of the Monroe Report primary. What are you doing here, girl? They say I'm not a counting agent, so I can't stay. The same Rastafarian girl or dreadlocked young lady basically instructed her to leave the polling station because she ain't got no letter that says she is a counting agent. When GCOM rule says that if you are the agent in the polling station up to the end of close and you have not been removed by your party, you automatically become the counting agent. And so I told her, I said, let's go. We went back into the polling place. And the presiding officer was resistant. She even told the police to lock me out, shut the door in my face. I went to the returning officer. He said, but Mr. Amsterdam, this can't be so. I sent these people a message since early in the day explaining that to them. He showed me the message. He went to her. He asked her if she didn't read the message. She didn't read the message. She didn't know. So we had to pay for her ignorance because the count was proceeding. I demanded that the count be restarted in the presence of my agent. She resisted. The returning officer had to call one of the seniors for that instruction to be accepted from this girl. Y'all understand the difficulties that we face in elections. Everybody like say, but every party had an agent, how this happen or how that happen. Because at the end of the day, the authority that is given to the returning officer, the PO, presiding officer, is like them is God and them is God only. Nobody else could say anything. Understand that? At the end of the process, she was one of the last ones to turn out her box. Because as I said, she aggressive and she arrogant, but like she no maths. The question is whether or not is she no maths or she was cooking figures. So those are just some of the challenges. I says Mr. Jordan Morning. Let me call him. You will hear more, I guess, as things unfold. But from where I said, I said it since the joint services voted. It's no sense in going forward with this election. There are too many issues.
Hello, Kudaki?
Hi, Mr. Jordan Morning. How are you doing?
Hi, good morning, man. Good morning. I am well. I am with the times. Thankful Thursday again, Thankful to be in the land of the living.
No?
Yes. Like I said, every time, lots of people didn't make it. But we're thankful for life. And let me just use it to give a shout out to my former schoolmate and good friend, Ivadni Mangar, who's celebrating her birthday today. I hope when you get back from your tours overseas that we can have a celebratory event to drown our sorrows, if those are it, or to celebrate our life generally. You know? Now, happy Human Nabi to all our listeners, if that is what we say. Happy Human Nabi to all our listeners, because you can forget that today is a holiday and today is a Muslim holiday, as a national holiday for Muslims. And we want to celebrate with them at this time. Going right into a subject matter which could get lost within this whole election thing, which I will deal with just now. Is there echo, Kadaki? Is there echo in the background? Yeah. Yes. I want to be with the residents of Brianville who are now waging a battle against the owners of Mays School, who have taken over the eastern part of the Farnham ground, ostensibly claiming that they're putting up a temporary structure of concrete, steel, and others, effectively appropriating public property. You know, and if the mayor, his worship, Alfred Mentor, and his councillors gave permission for this monstrosity to be going up on public property, you know, they should face the population of Georgetown. Mays School has its own property that was burnt earlier in the year. And by now, the firemen, the fire people would have done their report and given them the go-ahead to clear the debris and either reconstruct or build whatever temporary structures they wish to do there. Why are they appropriating public property? And I am with the residents of Brianville. If they don't put a stop to this nonsense, it's taking place all over the place. People appropriating bell grounds, cemeteries, you know, anything, right? The Carifesta Avenue, where we are accustomed to going on Sundays and watch softball, cricket, and people exercising and so on. They've appropriated large chunks of that. There's still a big echo, Kidaki. I could hear it in the background. Kidaki? Yes. You know, they've appropriated large swaths of public land in Carifesta Avenue. So all the free spaces where we could enjoy the Atlantic breeze coming into the land to cool the rest of Georgetown will now be blocked out by a humongous hotel that they are putting up there, and so on. And that is where all of our public spaces for recreation are disappearing, you know. And again, as I said, I am with the residents of Brianville, and they should move to the court to halt this construction that is taking place on the Farnham ground. You know, there's so little spaces left where you could enjoy a little recreation in the afternoon, a little exercise and whatnot. People are forced to exercise on the road and encounter the traffic. You know, I used to have a ground here in front, just in front of me, north of my house, that I used to go and exercise on. Now they did all kind of nonsense to that ground. The walk strip that we had created so that you could, you know, do a couple of laps and so on have gone. That's gone. And now I'm forced to use the road. And all the traffic in the mornings and so on. You know, This is Dubai. This is the fastest growing country in the world where you can't find recreational spaces to do a bit of exercise. I say to the Sobrianville people, go quickly, get an injunction, stop the building. There's nothing temporary about concrete and steel. It's not like the tents that they put up there soon after the fire. That is definitely temporary. Now they're moving to concrete and steel. And I'm saying, if the mayor and his Mary Band gave permission for that, I say shame on you guys. No wonder the citizens of Georgetown and the residents of Region 4 and other residents of this country are behaving the way they're behaving. No wonder. So I want to start off this discussion by telling the residents I'm with them in spirit. At least I recognize their fight, and of course they have enough influential people in that area, the finance and the whoever else in that area to put up the kind of money and get the lawyers to go to court and stop that construction that is taking place on public property. It's amazing, just amazing, amazing, amazing. A school for profit, which can go and buy out any other areas and so on, can get people to agree with them to create structures on public property in the manner in which they are doing. Haven't we lost enough parapets and drains and alleys and all these things to private people who are gobbling up every conceivable space they have in this country, blocking drains, blocking pathways, everything, concrete, no more green, no more grass, no more mud, just concrete all over the place, changing the temperature, blocking out the Atlantic breeze from coming in and cool the place. When are we going to say enough is enough? When are we going to put up our hands and say enough of this nonsense? When are we going to put up our hands and say it is people who not concrete? I am with you, people of Sobrianville and any other place where you define these private gobblers who gobbling up our public lands and our recreational spaces. Well, the talk of the day, of course, is the elections that were held on Monday, September the 4th. And so far, we have got our Monday morning quarterbackers for those who understand, admire, and love American football, which is different to the football, the English football that we know, which they have now rechristened soccer. And so the game usually played on Sunday, right? The season should start soon if it hasn't started already. And then on Monday now you get those who watch the game and who will tell you what should have happened, which place shouldn't have been, which place should be, and so on. So we have a lot of Monday morning quarterbackers. We got a lot of CFR people, right? We have a lot of soothsayers. We have a lot of armchairers. We have the observers, of course. And we have many, many more. Each with their own understanding and their own analysis of what happened, what took place, what should have happened, what shouldn't have happened, and so on. Eventually, though, for many, it is all over by the shouting, and the shouting being the so-called recount that is taking place at the moment. Because, strictly speaking, what is happening is not a recount. It's not really a recount in the strictest sense of the word, because my understanding is that they're just counting ballots in the box, which is the same old story again. But those ballots are not being reconciled with tally sheets, the lists, you know, and other election material. In other words, then, any recount should not just be a simple recount, but it must be a forensic audit. It must be a forensic audit of the polling that took place in those particular subdivisions or whatever the case may be, resulting in what is in that box. You know, and, you know, yesterday I saw, you know, just to debate quickly, a big row between, I think it was AP and Europe. God bless her. She's really, really she had really done some quality work over the years. And a GCOM rep over the X. Now, if you have a ballot with boxes in which you consistently tell people as part of the voter education to put your X, not a Y, not a Z, but put the X in the box and make certain it doesn't touch the borders of the box, which will then clearly identify who you are voting for. Even the voter education put out by GCOM said that. But now, when you're counting or you're recounting, you're trying to say an X or a Y outside the box is a valid vote. Then what's the purpose of putting a box on the ballot? There can be no purpose to putting a box on the ballot. Why not remove the lines and let people put whatever they want? In fact, why not let people just cross over the symbol? Why you don't tell them just cross over the symbol? Whether you want to X it, Y it, Z it, or even drop on it. So in that way, you don't have to put lines and all that kind of thing. The people who know a symbol, they understand the symbol, and they will take over the symbol, and then you know exactly their intent. But if you put the boxes there and tell people they must put an X, not a Y or a Z, an X in the box, and make certain that that X doesn't touch the borders of that box, and then we will count this as a valid vote. How now you're rowing and having people shouting at the top of their voices and everything else? When you're seeing people put X and Y and Z and whatever else outside the box, those things must, and they're not nitpicking. You can't just decide to change the rules midway through the game, and especially when those rules are favoring one party over the rest. But I got ahead, but I had to deal with that one because it's the simplest of them. I don't understand why you had to take up how much, half an hour or whatever, and ultimately decide to put a Q on it and we can come back to it later and all this kind of story over a simple instruction that you, GCOM, had said in your voter education. But like I said, I got ahead of myself. Now, it's generally agreed that on the day of the voting, things were quiet and peaceful. The strategy that the PPP had developed many years ago is to give a holiday on the day of voting. Prior to that, those who are old enough will recognize that there was no holiday on voting day. But the PPP forced introduced it. And it was strategic in terms of what they were doing at the time when they introduced it. Because at the time when they introduced it, their supporters were mostly the ones who controlled transportation of any kind, whether it was cars, minibuses, dray carts, or whatever else. And people on that day, when they put a holiday, and when no transportation is available, found it difficult to get to their polling stations, especially where the polling stations were not within walking distance. And so many people got either upset or frustrated and stayed home. Many of them being the opposition's supporters. And in many ways, it happened this time around too. It happened this time around too. A holiday. A holiday. People tend to sport the day before the holiday, come home late, sleep late, and couldn't be bothered to get out and vote. This used to be typical of the APNU supporters. So the PPP caught on to something, declare a holiday. And even though years afterwards, many people own their own transportation, there were still large complaints on September the 4th about access to public transportation, whether it was minibus or otherwise. Number of people didn't have access to that public transit because public transit literally stopped working. The day before in Linden, for example, many of the gas stations ran out of gas because of what took place. The incumbent going up there and giving out free gas vouchers. So a lot of people didn't turn up to the poll because they didn't have access to transportation. And even though parties, even though the opposition parties, because here the incumbent had access to all kinds of transportation, all kinds, including transportation that is owned by the government. They had access to that also. And they could have been seen ferrying people all over the place. A whole bus ferried Bangladeshis from one side to Diamond. So that accounted for that. Then there was voter apathy, clearly. You see, yesterday I was speaking, I overheard a conversation. I was downtown and I overheard a conversation and I stopped right away. And I joined the conversation. What was the conversation? I overheard a big guy. Look, either slightly younger or slightly younger of me, or just around the same age or so. I overheard him saying, "I didn't vote." So I turned around and I said, "So why you didn't vote?" He said, and this was an African Guyanese, by the way. He said, "Voting is a waste of time in Guyana because it can end up being the same thing. It can end up being the same thing." That's what he said. Exact words. It's going to end up being the same thing. Right? That the PPP going to win. So what's the sense voting? So I said, man, don't you care anything about the fact that your ancestors would have fought and died to give you this right here? Don't you feel that if you don't vote, that whoever wins, it means that you would have voted for them? Don't you feel that you should have a stake, a say in how the country is governed by making certain that you vote? Don't you feel that your vote might have been the one that would have given the opposition a better chance to get into government than not? He wasn't persuaded. He wasn't persuaded.
Hello, hi, good morning. Oh yeah, welcome to another program of Guyanese Morning Time. I am your host, Kidaki Amsterdam. I think this jersey look better with the button up. So I'm dressing camera. Yeah, forgive me. I'm not the type of person who likes to look in the mirror. Sometimes I don't like what I see. But when I am before the camera, then I have to see. I have no choice but to see. Oh Lord, look how this green look wonderful. I'm sorry I give you my PNC hat. Well, my APNU hat is a green and white hat. And I'm looking for green pants. I don't have any green trousers really. I never really bought any green trousers. But if I had one, I would have been wearing it this morning. I certainly would have been wearing it this morning. I got some business to do in Georgetown, and I would have been dressing from top to bottom in green. Because they associate green with APNU. And I am so proud, and still I'm so proud of being associated with the APNU and the APNU's political campaign to win government in this country. Nobody ain't gonna beat me into shame. Nobody ain't gonna say 5 more years upon them and cause me to bow my head. And I'm encouraging you the same. Don't let it beat you into subjection. The reality is we know what we know, and they know what they do. So welcome to another program. How you been? How was your last night? How was your this morning? How was the night before and the night before and the night before? Because the several nights before, we waited for electoral results and so on. Keep on saying that is not a decision for me. I would love to see me in Parliament. You know, I had anyhow, we can come back to that. Let me say this. I know people have had sleepless nights. I know people are having a difficult time facing the reality that the APNU has been cheated once more. I know all of those candidates and supporters of the APNU who were out, boots on the ground, who were campaigning in their neighborhoods, even if they were the lone person supporting the APNU in that area. I know they were having a tough time. But I am saying, be like the phoenix. Be like, Arby said, be like the oak tree. The breeze is going to blow you, but you're going to come back. I know that the nasty and wicked and stinking behavior of the PPP and their supporters is what you have to contend with and have been contending with. But it says sticks and stones may break my bones, but words at all really don't bother me. So my advice to you is, let it talk the talk, let it show the hint, let it play the music, let it pass and blow the air, let it do what I want. But don't let it touch you. Don't let it touch you. You must be prepared to defend your physical. Don't let it touch you. And I say to the RDAP and your supporters across this country, it's time to develop a herd mentality. If it's war, the war want, get them war. Don't let nobody physically assault your team members and you let it slide. Turn up in your numbers and defend them. Turn up in your numbers and defend them. We got to develop a herd mentality. Who gonna defend us? Who gonna defend us? Because it is simply political immaturity and stupidity on the part of the leaders, in this instance, the PPP leaders. If they can't say to their supporters, are using their words, we have won this election, we have won these elections, let us move forward and move forward peacefully and leave people alone. We have won these elections. Using the PPP word, we have won these elections. We got 5 more years upon them. You are our soldiers, you are our followers, you are whoever. Be responsible in your behavior and leave people to live in peace. If the PPP leaders can't say that to their supporters, I am going to say to my comrades, my political comrades, Defend yourself. Defend yourself. Some of we gonna die defending ourselves. But some people gonna get the message that we ain't gonna take it rolling over. And so they're gonna think twice before they come around you funny. I know they expect us to come out here with our heads bowed, subdued. We don't have any reason to do that. We should be the ones walking around with a chip on our shoulder. For all the years, the PPP been allowing rigged elections and they want biometrics and they want this and they want that. When the time came for them to deliver biometrics to this country and a free and fair election and a clean voters list, they refused. And it is in keeping with their attitude and their behavior. Let's tell you something. I don't know about y'all, I don't know about y'all, but I'll tell you this. I think I'm relatively young in this political game. But when I look back at it, it's almost 40 years I've been in politics, Because I started paying attention to politics in my teens. Thank God for Brother UC Quine and David Hines and George Hines and the rest of them from the Lessons Place, Flat Shop. None of them never said to me, Kiraki, get into politics. None of them. None of them never said to me, you got to join the WP. None of them. But by their leadership, I decided that this is what I want to do as part of my life. I want to serve my people. I want to serve this country. And for all the years that I've known the PPP, they've never proven themselves to be a set of decent people. Ethical, moral, nationalistic. Those are not adjectives that you can attach to the PPP. And let me give you a quick rundown. They are a duplicitous set of people. The great leader, Papa Cherry, caused the Constitution, I think they call it the 1980 Constitution, some people call it the Bonham Constitution, caused the Constitution every single day of the year, every minute of the hour, every hour of the day, every day of the week, when he was in opposition. And said the Constitution must be torn up and reformed and all of that. The president got too much power. And when in 92, the Carter Center corrupted the election and gave it to Chedi Jagan. And yes, I said the Carter Center corrupted the election and gave it to Chedi Jagan. Chedi Jagan didn't win no election in October 1992. By then, the US, the CIA, and all those who were in bed with the US decided, listen, it's time for we get rid of the PPP from power, the PNC from power, because of all the cries of abuse and this and that and the other, and put the PPP in power because Chedi came at our feet and he bowed down. And he begged and he said, how we're going to change my communist ways. I ain't going to be communist no more. Let history be told. I ain't gonna be communist no more. I want power. Y'all give me power and I'm gonna cooperate with y'all. And when Chedi Jagan got into power, and he was reminded that he was fighting for constitutional reform, he said nothing is wrong with the Constitution. Nothing is wrong with the Constitution. Is who using it. Is who using it. Fast forward to 2015, 2020. Fast forward to 2015, 2020. When Jagdeo and the PPP was out of power, they quite blew more out. They were cheated out of the elections, how the elections machinery is rigged and fraudulent and all kind of thing. I know the list is bloated and they want biometrics. Again, when the US and their friends came and they installed them in power after the 2020 elections, the cry went out the door. The other set of people were crying for it. The APNU and their supporters were saying biometrics and a clean voters list. It fell on deaf ears. The PPP never heard it. Khaled Singh and masqueraders at GCOM, they never heard it until about 6 months to the election when they decided that, yes, we have ignored it long enough. And now we are going to say we do not have enough time. To implement it. And so they ignored it and then they said they did not have enough time to implement it. And so we went to an election with a bloated list, an extremely bloated list that presented millions of opportunities for the elections to be corrupted like it has been corrupted. And the PPP is walking around strutting their stuff saying they won an election. I call it a Pyrrhic victory for them. I call it a Pyrrhic victory for them. As people like to say you win the battle, but you lost the war, or you win the war, but you lost the battle. You are in power, you stay in power. But you have no legitimacy. I am sure that more people than before in this society see you, presidents, and all of you in the PPP, as an illegitimate set of criminals. And all those of you who are supporting them and walking around with a chip on your shoulder, you are just similar to them. Boys of a feather flock together, you and them are the same thing. Oh, you're a sour loser. See what I'm talking about? Sour loser here. I ain't ready for cuss yet. So I ain't gonna follow you up. But, oh, you're a sour loser. Like, really? Like, really? Listen to the observer missions. Listen to the preliminary reports. Some of you can't read, so I can't tell you going to read it. And I'm talking specifically to those of you who come here and talk about sour and so loser and you PPP miscreants. I can't call you all anything else. The proud of slaves of the PPP. Go read or ask somebody to read for you or even ask Google to read for you the preliminary reports of the observer mission. Even at the inauguration of the presidents, the Brits told them, you need to implement the recommendations of the observer missions soon, very soon, with alacrity. Look at the findings of the observer missions and see if there are anything different to what the coalition has been saying to Guyanese and the coalition has been saying to the world and the coalition has been saying to GCOM. The list is extremely bloated. Biometrics will help to solve the problem. The electoral machinery is rigged. We need to fix it, etc., etc. Go check the reports, preliminary as it is, of the observer missions. And so don't cause the coalition for saying that this election, they got no legitimacy about this election and the government that resulted from it. We didn't bring the observers. Go check it. And I'm saying to you, I've established you, or I've shown you the duplicitous nature of the PPP, from Chedi Jagan all the way down to by Jagdion Fanali and all of them. And the people who they always attempt to label riggers, in the last 10 years or so, were the only people who genuinely made an effort to fix the electoral rule. Despite all the cost Granger and the cost Patterson, who was at the time chairman of the Election Commission, don't forget that Granger, under the Granger administration, a house-to-house registration and verification process had begun in this country. And Claudette Singh, once she was appointed chairman of the Election Commission, she stopped it. Y'all go and check it. Y'all go and check it. And so for all the course y'all give PNC, all the course y'all give PNC, y'all give APNU as riggers and wanting to steal election and wanting to kill democracy and all of that, let the records reflect that a very group of people have shown a willingness time and time again to fix the electoral system, to clean the voters list, and to let democracy and democratic practices prevail in this country. It is under the PNC that this GCOM was born. And it was supposed to be a temporary arrangement in terms of structure. From 92 to now, we still got it. Are our leaders lazy? Are they backward? Are they illiterate? Functionally illiterate? Ignorant? What label do you want to give them that up until now, Guyanese are hamstrung with an election commission that doesn't function? And people in government who are not willing to make the necessary changes so that the election commission can function and democracy or democratic practices can really become a part of the society we live in. Let me tell you something. There ain't nothing that irks me more than folks coming here and refer to us as you people. Don't come here and talk to us. Don't talk down to us. Don't talk down to us. We're giving you the opportunity to partake because we believe in democracy. But don't come here and talk down to us. Don't address anybody as you people. Because you people are no better than us. Let me say this. I see Flash Gordon is saying it never benefited black people for 28 years. It was a mistake by Desmond Prasad. It was no mistake. It was no mistake. Are you saying that all of the countries that has adopted democratic practices, establish an election machinery where the will of the people, the real will of the people, is respected, have made mistakes? No. No, those are not mistakes. It is the unwillingness to allow the systems to function that is the problem in this country. The unwillingness to allow the system in place to function is the problem in this country. Commissions are constitutional bodies. Commissions are supposed to be independent constitution bodies. It is the government and the government's operatives that interfere with the functionality of these constitutions that must be determined and declare the problem. And so those are the people you want to get rid of from public office. The Bible says if your right hand offend you, cut it off. And if these people are the offenders against the citizens of this country by not allowing constitutional agencies to function constitutionally, these are the people we got to get rid of. Those are the people we got to get rid of. And so don't blame the well-intentioned actions of Desmondite. I don't care how much we cost Desmondite and call it Desmond Putsat. Desmondite made a calculated or took a calculated risk. But he made a patriotic decision. Listen, this country is under so much pressure from the international community to adopt democratic practices. And if we fail to adopt those democratic practices, we're being stifled financially and economically, and the people are feeling the squeeze. Let me bite the bullet. I will adopt the democratic practices. Guyanese would recognize my good intention, and they will give me that opportunity to lead this country into a brighter future. Indo-Guyanese will recognize my sincerity in ensuring that I be a president for all the people and give me an opportunity to lead this country into a brighter future. The Indian snakes put on sheep clothing and they well and they praise up Desmondite, and everywhere they go, they put a garland around his neck. Some people say with brick inside. And came election day, they shafted him. That's not on Desmondite. That's not on Desmondite. Indo-Guyanese fought alongside the WPA. Afro-Guyanese leaders in the WPA. Indo-Guyanese fought alongside them. Step by step. To change the practices of government that they believe were oppressive to the people. And when that government was gotten rid of, and Indo-Guyanese were in government and performing worse, taking more oppressive measures against the people and even that government that they were fighting, Indo-Guyanese went into the quiet corner, and some of them simply say, "I'll be time now." Don't blame the Working People's Alliance and their leaders for standing on the side of the people, for the selfishness of those Indo-Guyanese, many of them in the PPP today. Let us look at them for what they are. Let us look at them for what they are. I will continue to say this. The PPP win no election. The PPP couldn't win any election. Because Guyanese people are stupid. Guyanese people are stupid. Guyanese people know that the PPP represent the worst for this country. And they voted against them. I'm willing to concede that win, the Blue Party possibly won the election. I see they say they're going to an election petition. I wish them luck. You know why I wish them luck? Because again, the PPP did not and will not allow the constitutional agencies of this country to function. They're tired of using Roxanne, George, so they orchestrate it, they make the plan. Roxanne, the country, we see the country discuss you every time you rule for us. You could take your leave now, sweetheart, darling. You could take your leave now. We got another agent of ours to put in place. We're going to put Navendra Singh or whoever his name is. I said it before and I'm going to continue to say it. They ain't got one electoral case that will go in front of the acting Chief Justice and pass. Not one. But I also said something. Democracy in this country is for sale. Electoral rights in this country are for sale. Justice in this country, for sale. And so since the leader of the Win Party is a multi-billionaire, who knows? Maybe he's going to outbid the PPP. And we're going to get an election petition heard in this country in a timely manner. Just maybe he could outbid the PPP and buy justice. So we're going to get an election petition heard in a timely manner. And I'm not saying that with any apologies, any regrets. They could come for me. Like I tell you, I seal myself already. Whatever the outcome is the outcome. But I will continue to speak my truth. And from where I am sitting, where I sit, the PPP has put all of the gatekeepers in place. Y'all ain't get no chance of passing this gate. And so we're not even worried. Y'all ain't got no chance of passing this gate. GCOM, that in 2020 said, according to the Constitution, it had the authority to create Order 60. I remember that. Because the Representation of People's Acts basically say, listen, GCOM has the authority to do everything in its power to ensure free, fair, and credible elections. And so Order 60 was created under that nonsense. But come to 2025, when Leader Norton asked GCOM for a forensic audit, the old hag said, anything beyond the recount, gotta go to court. We don't have the authority. Anything beyond the recount, you gotta go to court for. We don't have the authority to even execute a forensic audit of this election. Let me tell you why. There are credible reports. I have credible reports of missing ballot papers coming out of the election. Let a lot of the, well, I can't even say let the POs tell you the stories. Because the thing with the POs telling the stories is the PPP POs going to be telling the stories. But I can tell you across this country, the sequential order of ballots could not be followed in many of the ballot books. Breakdown secondary, for example. Breakdown secondary, for example. The GCOM staff had hell and razor to reconcile. They had hell and razor to reconcile because a whole chunk of ballots sequentially were missing from the ballot book. And the same obtained across the country. The same obtained across the country. When you, as a manager, financial manager, accountant, or anything, when you find missing check pages, missing pages from your checkbook, what conclusion do you come to? What conclusion do you come to? Somebody robbing the company here, right? People are stealing pages from the checkbook and forging signatures. Is that ethical? It isn't. Is that fair? It isn't. So all the so-called red brigade and red and ready people, y'all are the ones who should be walking around in shame. You are celebrating the theft of an election. So I'm saying to the people, my people, put on your green and be seen. Don't feel diminished. Stand tall. Because they ain't got nothing on you. They have nothing on you. This was a clear orchestration. I said to y'all want, let me do him say I said to y'all want nothing. The results do not speak to the true fortunes of the APNU. They do not speak to the true fortunes of the Win Party. They do not speak to the true fortunes of the PPP. They do not speak to the true fortunes of any of the political parties that participated in this election. Here, Dick. You got a right name, Dick. Where's your proof that elections were stolen? Thief man don't walk around and leave the elements of his trade to the Omais. Investigators usually investigate and find them. They use circumstantial evidence, even if you know what that is. They use circumstantial evidence and they pay attention to them and they follow them and they arrive in many instances at a conclusion and find the culprit. We have seen all of the circumstantial evidence, some of which I have just discussed with you, but Dick ain't got ears, so Dick can't hear what I said. And if the constitutional agency in GCOM had an interest in really and truly preserving democracy and democratic practices in this country, then the old hag would have responded positively to the request for a forensic audit of the election. Somebody is asking if we can still get that forensic audit. The next step to any challenge to this election is in the courts of Ghana. As long as the elections have been declared, the president has been sworn in, the next step is an election petition. I just said, in case you weren't listening, I will repeat so even the Dick can hear if it can find an ear. I have no hope of any electoral case passing the PPP blocker, starting with the acting Chief Justice. That's all I'm saying. Look how the court system has been set up to be used against us, even if we want to challenge the election through the courts. Amanza Walton Desir approached the court on the fact that GCOM left the name and symbol of her party off of the national ballot for 2 regions, I think. Not only did the PPP blocker in the acting Chief Justice throw out the case, but he awarded costs to the value of $2 million, I think. You know what that is saying? Don't come. If you come and you lose, we're going to penalize you. Whether or not you lose under fair circumstances, we're going to penalize you. We're going to make you feel it in your pocket. You know what that is? That is a disincentive. It doesn't encourage anybody to approach the court. It does not appear, that's a constitutional matter. And citizens should have a right to go to court on a constitutional issue. And the agencies involved in that constitutional matter are agencies of the state, more particularly GCOM. GCOM is funded on taxpayers' money. And so it is taxpayers' money who would have had to pay their legal costs and everything. And so why are you penalizing a citizen who is a taxpayer for asking question of a constitutional agency who gets paid through our tax or all of our tax? Except that you want to be vindictive. Except that you want to be vindictive. And you want to discourage such challenges. Y'all gotta understand this thing. And it's not like some of you don't understand it. Y'all just want to pretend that you're stupid. I am positive in my mind that the arguments or the contentions of Amanza in terms of GCOM leaving our party's name off of the national ballot are genuine arguments. When the ruling said that she or party disqualified itself from those 3 regions because they said they weren't contesting those 3 regions, understand the electoral system of this country. It's called general and regional elections. General and regional elections. Through general elections, you elect the president and so on. Through regional elections, you elect regional representatives like the regional chairman and so on and so forth. The party said we have no interest in having regional representatives in these regions. But that did not change our interest in having people vote for us to elect the president. There are 2 ballots, the top is national and the bottom is regional. So if any leaving off was supposed to be done, the party's name and symbol should have been left off of the regional ballots, not the general ballots. But the learned judges or judge whoever believe that all we stupid. Only they could interpret the law. Only they got brain. Despite all of the corruption in it, only they got brain. And so for me, that was a very simple and straightforward case. But it gets thrown out. And the citizen who was asking the judiciary to pronounce on a constitutional matter gets penalized. Baby Bash, I said earlier, don't come here and address us as youth people. Go over by critics. So if you all didn't see, the whole system is rigged against fixing the rigged system. I don't know what else to say to you guys. But this is what I want to say to African Guyanese. All is not lost. Because the cry now is the government is Indo-Guyanese. The leader of the opposition or the main opposition party is Indo-Guyanese. There's a cry now. Who can talk for them black people? Who can talk for them black people? I want to say to you, if you don't have a voice in the parliament, you can ensure you have a voice on the streets of this country. Oh God, Mr. Absalom, I'm telling people go up on the streets. No, I ain't tell them that yet. I ain't tell them that yet. Here we're telling them. Get back into your communities and form strong organizations. Join African Guyanese organizations. Strengthen them. Give them strength. I keep telling y'all, there's no leader. If the people are not standing firmly behind, in front, beside the leader. Show your leaders support. Strengthen them. Put backings to them. As somebody got to say, you gotta get backative. They gotta get backative. And when you join your African Guyanese organizations and you strengthen your leaders, and they know that they can make a call and get 100,000 people on the streets of Georgetown, and the powers that be know that when they make a call, they can get 100,000 people on the streets of Georgetown, they're going to listen to you. You ain't got to be in parliament for them to listen. My answer to the PPP and their shenanigans and this distorted democracy, my answer is strong African Guyanese organizations and strong African Guyanese leadership. All is not lost. All is not lost. I know because I've seen the signs already. I've seen the signs already. That a lot of those who went to win are ready to walk back that decision. Because by now they realize, oh shoots by, we screw up. Good morning, how may I help you? Yes, my name is Kidaki. I'll be there in the course of today. I saw your text message. Good. And so what is done is done. But some things could be undone. And so we're going to beat them up. We're going to chastise them for the rest of eternity. Just let them know, hey, I could come back. We can work our differences out. Because it is in our interest to work our differences out. My answer to this current dispensation is strong, people-centered representative organizations. If African Guyanese can recognize the value of that, then I sorry for all of us. Or all of y'all. Let me show y'all something. The dice cards, there's a whole conspiracy to continue to oppress African Guyanese in this country. Y'all look at who the local observers were. Y'all look at the Guyana or Georgetown Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the observers who were forced perhaps to declare the elections free, fair, and credible. Look at them. And see what they got in similarity to the PPP. It's free and fair for them because it's more contracts to them. It's more tax exemptions to them. And so on and so forth. Listen, let me go. Don't cause me to get very personal this morning. Don't forget I call on you to put your body to the line. Don't tell people that I got too many online talkers. Because a lot of you who come here and criticize people for being online talkers, you aren't ready to put your body to the line. They got a couple of people I could big up because they left the United States of America and they left London, British, wherever, and they left the Caribbean and they came and they said, Mr. Amsterdam, how can we help? What can we do on election day? Yes, financing and so on, we need it to do the work that we have to do. But money by itself does nothing. Even those two political parties, WIN and PPP, that were buying votes and so on and paying people to go to rally and so on, they had to get people to deliver their money. Let me make it that simplistic. Let me make it that simplistic. Money answers all things. But you gotta forget medium of getting the money to where you're going to go and answer all things. Money couldn't sit in polling stations. Money couldn't sit in GCOM. Money can't do a forensic audit. It could pay for it. I will tell you, going forward, I need your money. I need a whole lot of money in the rebuilding process. I need a whole lot of money because I got a rebuilding plan. And your money will help. But don't think that is the beginning and end of it all. And so don't come and tell people all you always do is sit down and talk. Because you know it. Those who were on the ground with me on election, they know all I do wasn't sit down and talk. I started work that morning, maybe about 2 o'clock. And I went to bed, maybe about 2 o'clock. Only to wake up about 4 the next morning to be on it again. Y'all stop. It's the same self-righteousness that has us right where we are. because everybody was self-righteous in their condemnation and criticism of Aubrey Norton as leader. And you know what? I was about to say it earlier. Aubrey Norton could not have performed as badly as the PPP and the GCOM electoral machinery made it look as though he performed. But we laid a foundation on which they could plant that dishonesty. We laid the foundation on which they could plant that dishonesty. Because all of us painted Aubrey Norton as unelectable and not liked by the people and destructive of the party and all of that. And so the PPP had a ground on which their corruption could stand. Because y'all done kill and bury Aubrey Norton. We only put in on the flowers. But now everybody coming in a righteous indignation. I'll give me a chance. Before I open up the lines, I want to address why I consider the attacks on Winston Jordan. Winston Jordan could speak for himself. But I was the host of the program when Winston Jordan made certain suggestions about the way forward for the AP and you for the opposition leadership and so on. First and foremost, I think Winston Jordan has a right to his opinions. Secondly, I don't think they were disrespectful to Aubrey in any way. Thirdly, I don't think there was any ill will in those opinions. But again, we in our emotional states are ready to jump out and call Winston Jordan some of the worst names and curse him out. And that's where he was. But for almost 4 years, I would say almost 4 years, he might be able to tell you how long he has been on this program because he generally he seems to be a good record keeper. I don't pay too much attention to that. Winston has been coming here every week to teach us, every week to empower us. We'll see on the campaign trail, but he has been campaigning with us every week on these platforms. Unless you're saying what I've been doing on these platforms so every week for the last 4 or 5 years can't be considered campaigning. But we all up in our feelings. We all up in our feelings. All up in our feelings. Sometimes we got to give people a break. Why is he allowed to have an opinion on others or people on the other side, but not have an opinion on his own side? That is self-disruptive for all of us and destructive. Jordan ain't no peach, Jordan ain't no angel. I'm sure Jordan knows that he has made some mistakes, even as finance minister and member of the PPP, the last former APNU government, and even as a human being, he has his frailties and so on and so forth. But oh, because he expressed this opinion, we must kill him. Yes, Marcel Glasgow. Thank you. Dennis Shabral made it seem as though Jordan say not must go immediately. I was in the presence of Norton when somebody showed me an article that say Jordan called for his resignation. And he said, oh, Jordan called for my resignation. My immediate response to him was, I will advise you to go listen to the entire presentation from Jordan before you come to a conclusion. Because I know he's an educated man. And where others are seeing mischief, he might see wisdom. But many of us read the headlines. Many of us only read the headlines, you know. And a whole lot of us only hear others talk about the headlines. And we come to our conclusions. Nobody takes the time to get the whole meat of the matter. They just hear a soundbite and they grab it and they run around like mad people. A crazy bull in a ceramic shop, and they broke up everything, not even caring about the aftermath. My advice to people is, if you want to comment on an issue, ensure you get the entire episode of the show where the issue is discussed and listen to it. Don't listen to other people. I am trained in communication. I could be a newspaper editor like any editor. I could be a news editor like any editor. And I will tell you that one of the things we always know and always keep in our heads, editors are the gatekeepers to information. They decide who you're going to hear and who you're going to know. And since, as it would appear in this country, every editor got their own agenda, you have to be careful of which editor you listen to or which headline you just read and decide you're going to form an opinion. Ensure you get the details of the matter. For example, Travis Chase and the presidents. My understanding, my clear understanding, and people could disabuse me of this ignorance, is that on election day, until the elections are declared, they got no minister, they got no president. That's my own interpretation. Travis might have fallen victim of the same interpretation because he addressed the president as Muhammad Irfan Ali. But hear me. What they don't show you is when Ali rebuked him and said, President Muhammad Irfan Ali. And the exchange started. He said, Mr. President. He was quick. He was quick to correct himself and de-escalate this situation. But the president, in all of his arrogance and in a show of stupidity for all of his stupid supporters, continue to rant and rave like the mad dunce he is. And everybody that in the red team, as they call themselves, all across this country, ready to criticize and chastise and even, who knows, decapitate, figuratively, Travis Chase. None of them took the time to stop. Look at the video, listen keenly, and recognize Travis Chase having been quote-unquote upbraided by the presidents immediately corrected and said, Mr. President. But common sense ain't common no more in this country. You could only see red if you're supporting the red team. You could only see in what direction if you're supporting this thing and somebody is critical of it. You can't reason logically. Well, they'll continue that attitude, and Ghana has places to go. All of us will be laughing stocks, or all of y'all, because I'm ensuring I don't fall in a bracket. The lines are open 6225933 no more to call. If Ali was president at the time when Travis Chase was addressing him, why he didn't swear in his ministers yet? Why he did not swearing his ministers is yet? Somebody was asking me where Sam, not Sam, it's Mark Phillips. Because after the inauguration, they show you Vice President Jagdeo and all of that. Where Mark Phillips, like he ain't no place. And again, we have to be educated about the system. And this part of the thing, as my friend will call and say, an uneducated vote is a problem. And he can't swear anybody in until he's sworn in. And so you can't get no prime minister until Ali is sworn in as president. Because it is the president that swears the prime minister. The chancellor swears the president swears everybody after that. And so y'all got to understand that. Right? And that's part of the problem in this society too. A lot of people speak from a place of ignorance. Not for we that talk and we know what we're talking about. Call it on. Good morning.
Yes, good morning to you and all my black brothers and sisters. Happy Monday. Can you hear me? Hello? Hello, can you hear me? Okay, good morning to you and all my black brothers and sisters in Guyana. Let me say this first. Tomorrow, I'm going to represent myself. When I said Desmond Prasad make a terrible mistake to introduce CARICOM, and it never benefited black people for 28 years. I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. I want to thank all my black brother and sister who represent Abinat, David Hines, and you, who represent APNU coalition, who represent PNC party. Because why we represent? Because we refuse to be our slave and slave catcher from the 1st of September. Why you going that road down this morning with Slave Flats Garden? Because of what the Koli AG said, Anil, that black man was proud to be our slave under Koli. Because black man back in the days was proud to be our slave under white man. Now it's habit time. Me love to explain things fine, you know. They could come for me live America. What happened in that election? Jagdeo know that if he put Abinat there as opposition leader, it will be a rough 5 years for him and his supporters them. That's why he take away vote and give it to Mohammed. Because Mohammed always said, I have no beef with Ali. Ali is my Muslim brother. And one thing he said, last, he said, if I have to go, he said, yes, I will join PPP for the people's sake. Shawanda said, he said yes, for his people's sake, Koli's sake. I do hope when I bombast me for said Koli, but today every Koli man said, black man must proud to be our slave. No other country will sit for that nonsense and he's still walking and eating among black people in Guyana. When Flats Garden always said, to demonstrate the word love, unity, and support, black man ignore me. But when Randa Bab come and say, black man gets 100%, black man said they agree with it, and I repeat, that you couldn't believe that what black man going to put 1-2 Koli in parliament to represent them. They said, we will never do the Koli people will never do it. Because we loyalty. Well, I did not use that word, but the word that she used is the same word that I used to use. Love, unity, and support. That is black people's biggest problem in Guyana. We got to listen to black people. You may not agree with what I'm saying, but think about it. It will make enough sense for take yourself out of poverty and slavery. The last word she said, I agree with it, or because I love to use the word kill. She said, he go kill are you so and so now? Kill out are you so and so now? But me know, she said, we. But he chucked your voice and said, he go kill out are you so and so now? When Flash Garden said, my grandmother teach me that black people, that Cully love power, money, land, and they love to kill black man. Black man fight me down. Don't get Flash Garden talking about Cully. I see Cully now today. But to my black brother and sister, we must not give up the fight. A quitter is not a loser, and a loser is not a quitter. Let me touch peace before we go. Thank you for the time too. Before we go, I love Mr. Winston Jordan. Oh yes, I always talk good about him. One of my big sister, and he working Minister of Finance. She talk good thing about him. She was accountant. But after Jago took $60 million and one part of the finance building, she leave and come over here. She said, my brother, me got it because she don't want to be part of that nonsense. Mr. Winston Jordan, sometimes all of we just talk and talk wrong and make mistake. And we have to face our mistake. Mr. Winston Jordan said, he's not PNC and now he's not college NPNU. This is where I said he make a mistake. Because like Mark said, the election did not finish yet. They still recount. But he came and said, Abinati must step down and give a young person. That is number one. And start to call name who's supposed to go in office. Those two are two errors. That is Mr. Arby Norton, and he supported them, and he member in Congress have to say, I always said to him, if you want to advise Mr. Arby Norton, call him and make a meeting, and you need to sit down and talk as big brothers, as brothers, and give you that advice. Not to come out in the public. We have to understand these things. We're not bombasting Mr. Winston Jordan. But if my friend can't tell me to make mistake, he's not no friend. I love Mr. Winston Jordan. I is the only one thank him for what he did for them young people who go and support who go and support the criminal Mohammed. I thank him for what he did for make them get that $100,000. But Mr. Winston Jordan make a mistake, and I believe he should come out Thursday and apologize to Mr. Winston, not to Mr. Arby Norton. He's calling for young people. Rickford Burke and Melvin, all of them, after 20 election, they call for young people. And when Granger Prasad accept the calling, he put young people there. Look what young people did to the party today. Young people. Thank you very much for time.
Thank you for your call. Here's a part of me that you and everybody else dislikes. Flash Garden, you sound like you didn't listen to the program, or you sound like you can't think just like the others. And it's not disrespecting you. That is saying how I feel when I hear your comments. Call a hold line and mute, please. Let me say this. Mr. Jordan's caveat. Mr. Jordan's caution. Mr. Jordan's declaration before he went into that discourse was, the elections have not been declared as yet, but these numbers are out there. And if I were, and I'm paraphrasing, if I were to take these numbers as being accurate, these are the conclusions I have. These are the takeaways that I have. Y'all going to listen to the program. and listen keenly. Don't have one ears on the program and one ears on the television and one ears in your neighbor business and another ears to hear how your kettle whistle in the kitchen. Pay keen attention and then come and comment on the man's utterances. Again, I ain't defending Jordan. I'm addressing the fact that a lot of you are jumping to all kind of conclusions, making all kind of utterances without the benefit of listening to his utterances and listening to them in context. I see somebody say, why you couldn't call Mr. Norton and discuss it quietly? Again, according to y'all, and Jordan has always said it, he's not a political person, but he will always vote for APNU. He said he ain't no member, no party, but he will always vote for APNU. We bring Winston Jordan onto this program as an analyst, as a commentator. We never ask him for his commentaries to be private. And so all those of you who want his commentaries to be private, get off the damn program and don't listen to you when he come publicly. Because we didn't bring you here for private commentary. That is how arrogant I can get at times. We are so duplicitous. Oh, when it suits us, it's good for him to talk in public. Across the world, people make political commentary all the time. It doesn't mean they hate anybody. The other morning, I think let me go saying, I don't think you should discuss the election because the results are not out as yet. Across the world, people analyze what leading up to the election, during the election, the declaration of the election, and after the election. Why are we so stupid? Or we behave so stupidly? The story of the boy you called his mother when he was sentenced to jail and he said, come like whisper something in his and he bite her she is. In the story they say when he bite her she is, he tells you, if you used to tell me when I'm wrong, I want to be here today. We must be able to take credit and discredit. We must be able to take kudos and what's the other word? Criticism. Whether public or private. They say advise a fool and he can cuss you. Advise a wise man and he can thank you. You have to decide if you are fools or wise people. Call it on. Speak.
Morning, Kadaki. Morning. Thanks, thanks for coming to the defense of Mr. Jordan. You gotta realize that we're living in a time of there's so much distraction. We're living in a time where people use a little song bite from TikTok and come to a conclusion but an entire library of things. They don't want to listen, they don't want to read, they don't want to research, they don't want to dissect things and think independently. But once somebody says something and they see a headline, they run to a conclusion from a headline. That is the time we are living in, and it's dangerous for people. Let's stay on focus. You saying that, we need to plan forward, we need to look forward and everything. But some of the things while looking forward, there's some people that we must not listen to. And I'm going to say this. I said to Norman Brown one afternoon when he had his program with him, Otto Martin, and what's not. And I said to him, y'all are beating up on Aubrey Norton. And you said, GCOM been listening and looking and seeing how they're crafting things so they could set things. And I said to him, Jack, you don't need to come out here if y'all continue like this and campaign. Y'all are doing a good job at campaigning for Jack Deal. They laugh. They all laugh at me. And he called me an idiot. Who's the idiot today? If I was him, I would have gone push my head in the London sewage. Who is the idiot today? But I'm going to say this. People, stop listening to him. Please. If you want to stay focused, stop listening to him. Stop listening to Otto Martin. Stop listening to Rickford Burke. I'm going to call names this morning. Stop. Because we have to stay focused. To those who cross over laughing, and all of those who saying we got this and y'all and what's not, we got two ways we could go. It's either we could go the Rwandan way or we could go the Argentine way. And the Argentine way, I'm speaking to my black people. If you people continue to do the things that you are doing and not supporting your leaders and not supporting your kids, etc., we're going to become extinct like the blacks in Argentina. They're going to systematically extinct us like what happened there in Argentina. Right now, we're there as a collective. We're not economically strong. Show me as a collective something that blacks are running there, and we could say we always support it because it will support us in return. We have to be careful moving forward. The Rwandan way, to the Indians who laugh at us and calling us all kind of name, y'all choose Hutus or Tutsis, which one y'all want, because it could go that way too. It could go that way. But to my people, stay focused. Keep your eyes on the mission. Keep your eyes on the prize. Stop listening, as I said, to those idiots that craft minds away from us. Thank you.
Thank you for your call. It's 3 minutes to the 9 o'clock hour. And I did say prior that the structure of the program is going to be changed, and it's going to be changing. Let me ask you before I leave, so maybe tomorrow you could start responding to that, because it's 3 minutes to the 9 o'clock hour. I don't intend to have a 3-hour program in the mornings anymore. Some people are encouraging me not to come on every morning. But my thing is, if I were to adjust the time, what times would suit you? That's what I want to know. What times would suit you? Should I do it from 6 to, let's say, 8 or 7 to 9? What would you prefer in terms of timing? Assuming I'm going to do 2 hours. Mr. Jordan is calling. I will take his call as the final call. Mr. Jordan, morning. I can't give you more than 10 minutes. So if you intend talking for more than 10, start paraphrasing.
Kidaki, good morning. Morning, Chief. No, I hope Georgetown is experiencing the same weather as New York. Yes, I'm New York. I'm chilling because I missed out on Labor Day, so I'm chilling. I'm chilling for the rest of the week. I just wanted to quickly. Hello? Yes. I just wanted to quickly state that all the furor and so on that I've heard, because I don't be on Facebook and wherever else, that I've heard, and following this program somewhat this morning, is that I am thankful for the last caller and yourself to exhort people to go and listen to the program if you didn't listen to it. And when you do, point to the specific references in the program that will allow you to send your searing, skating, or whatever criticism that you wish. Every person who talked to me since, I asked them the first question, did you listen to the program? Then they start hemming high. I said, but did you listen to the program? One great friend came out, said that why I went ballistic on Norton. So I said, can you tell me which part of the program tells you that I went ballistic? Can't tell me up to now. But you got people going out there. In all of this, the only hurtful part is that Congress saw it fit to let their general secretary come out, not even listen to the program, to attack me. You know, these people must say, when they asked where Mr. Jordan was, who is not a politician, who since August the 2nd, 2020 said he stepped back from politics. But he didn't go into a graveyard. He was there throwing his belly out to such an extent that it attracted the attention of the PPP, who throw Trump up charges on him. And he still continued throwing his belly out. When they were attacking Norton and telling him he must go because he's attractive and them sort of thing, I was there, Norman Brown and all them program, praising Norton, saying his time is come and so on. So what the hell you telling me now that I tell Norton to resign? Go on, listen to the program. Do you hear me say that Norton must resign? Go on, listen to the program. I said Norton must step back. Step back doesn't mean you have to resign. I said Norton must retain the leadership of the party. He must retain the leadership of the list. I said that. I praised Norton for doing the underbushing that was necessary to allow the young shoots that came into the campaign for them to blossom and grow. What is wrong with that? What is wrong with that? I am telling all those, they are entitled to their opinion. There is nothing I said that I need to retract. And for all those who said I should have called Norton whisper in ears, I said that is your strategy, not mine. Not mine. I don't need to call Aubrey and tell him these basic things. Some things in politics are like life itself. The most recent reference being Stuart Young, Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. When he brought the PNM to its knees, he didn't need anybody to tell him he must resign. He immediately congratulated Kamala and said he is finished with politics. He's only holding on until the PNM elected a new leader. And within weeks, Ms. Bickles was identified, and she is now the face of PNM. These things you have to do with an alacrity that seems to miss our people. And I know the program is about them, but let me say it finally. I am unfazed with all of the criticism, all. There's nothing I have to apologize for. Everything I said on the program represented my views. My views. And they remain, not a single syllable I need to retract, not one. So Ms. Sharon Edwards and Ms. Debbie Simmons and everyone who on this program, I love you and I respect your opinion. You should respect mine. You may not like it, but you must respect it. And that is the only way we will go forward as a people. We will stop whispering and talk truth to power, especially in these grave times. We must talk truth to power and stop talking this nonsense, but we must whisper in ears and all this kind of thing. You people know how much whispering in ears I have done over the last 10 years from 2015 to 2025, and nobody ain't listening. Now, you see how fast people are listening when it's public? You see how fast? Because this is one good thing that come out of this. That the alacrity that is required has now reached Congress place. The alacrity that is needed. And from out of this ashes here will rise a phoenix. But only if we are prepared to do the searching and take the hard decisions that need the thing. I am a fervent supporter of the PNC. I've always said it. I will vote PNC. I am not a high jumper, I'm not a broad jumper, and I'm not a triple jumper. Now or ever. PNC forever. Go and listen to the program and then come and talk to me. I'm in New York right now. Come and face me. I don't back down. Thank you, Kirati.
Thank you for that call, and I think it's a good note to finish the program on. It's 5 minutes past the 9 o'clock hour. I don't see too many voice notes. So let me see. I'll play the voice notes. There are a few of them. I play them. Please don't send any other. Anything I see after now, I won't be playing. And I won't be taking any calls. So let's start with our voice notes.
Good morning, Mr. Amsterdam. Good morning, viewers. Mr. Amsterdam, I just want to thank you, Mr. Hines, and the coalition for doing a very, very good job. You guys worked. You worked hard. But you know what? All is not lost. The world see that the PPP still is election blatantly. They have no shame in the game because they know if Mr. Norton was to be the president of Guyana, a lot of them would have been behind bars. So they try everything they can. Moving forward, you guys have to start working from now to get your team together, go into the communities and talk to the people. I believe for the remaining time that the PPP would be in there, it will be very difficult for them. It will be very difficult for them because the observers is onto them. You have to get biometrics and a clean voters list. Thank you guys for all that you have done. Thank you. That is my take for today. Bye.
So Amsterdam, good morning. I don't know, but you see me, I tired and fed up with this thing. Because like I was saying, the same thing I was saying that Mr. Jordan saying about the X, right? Now if the X supposed to be in the box and you were saying it's a valid vote with the X out of the box, then what sense the box is there? The box has no place to be in there, you know? And next thing, it makes sense we argue and talk about this election that passed and gone, and no one is there to for us to go and represent our vote. You know, nobody stood up for us to represent the X. So I don't know where we're going. I do not know, but this is what I'm saying. When you're calling on these people to go out there, nobody don't want to go. You see? And that is why we're facing all of these kind of things that we are facing today. Because the election was rigged from top to bottom. It was rigged. And I ain't seen nobody putting up a fight. It's like everybody just leave everything. Nobody don't cares. You understand? Nobody don't cares. So the president swearing again. No one to stop him from doing so. And I don't think they have anybody could say anything about it. Taking the petition to the court makes no sense because the petition with Granger, what happened to that? So it make no sense. It make no sense.
Mr. Kadaki, morning. Mr. Kadaki and everyone listening, good morning. No, Mr. Kadaki, Monday was election day and it declared holiday, yes. But my point is, if you want to go out and vote, holiday or transportation and all them things going on for do it though, you would find yourself out there. I work polling agent. And I can tell you that some Indian, you gonna ask how long they taking for come in the polling station, but they come out and vote. You understand? But you see some of we black people, we wake it till we can't wake it no more. You understand? But enough of them gonna get good what coming to them. What you gonna see? You know why? Because they believe people like these people who are running behind like them, these people ain't like them. People ain't like them, people using them. You know, I telling you, these people using them because they why these people using them. Right? Why these people using them? Because a lot of them, the people brainwash them and they run and vote for the people because they're getting a contract or two and these nonsense. And most of the rest run and vote for Wayne. You understand? So there is what cause it. I wouldn't say that me get transportation, they put in there in front. Because if you want to vote, you will vote. You understand? Transportation can't make you vote. I had to go far and vote and I reached for vote. And I was working polling agent. I make sure somebody hold on for me and I go and vote. You understand?
Good morning, Mr. Amsterdam. A pleasant Monday morning. Thank you for everything that you're doing. Yes, you're making especially the Afro-Guyanese more knowledgeable. You know, they say in the old saying is constant water wears away stone. And you don't give up at n- nothing. You give up when you receive something. And everything when life happens for a reason. The blind could see that the election wasn't free and fair. Yes, it wasn't free and fair. The money from the natural resources which belongs to Guyanese, it was by used by the people in power to their own advantage. And you're right, it's only the people could change what is happening in this country. And unity is strength. Unity is strength. And I don't know. I pray that the next 5 years wouldn't be as same as the last 5 years or even worse. But I will have my little say too at times.
Good morning to you, Kadaki, and your listening public. Good energy this morning. I want to say that it can be so unfair to Abinathan. And it is unfair for Winston Jordan to call on Abinathan to resign. It is Winston Jordan and his government who mash up the APNU due to the damn foolishness he and Graver Grange and all the rest of the ministers did in the 2020 election. We're giving up power. They are the one who mash up the APNU. And so I know that a backlash will come this coming election. The people had wanted to move from them long, but they want to join the PPP. But after the Win Party created now, they take a chance and go with doing, which was a stupid thing to do. But they are the one who mash up the APNU. So saying that you're not disagree with Winston Jordan, no, I think you've been unfair there. That's just my opinion though. Peace out.
Good morning, Mr. Amsterdam and the viewing public. Mr. Amsterdam, first of all, I'd like to thank you for all the work that you put in not only educating us, but also the work that you did for the election. I know APNU had the most comprehensive plan for us, but I also look at history. I also believe that if we don't evolve, we will repeat. We had 400 years of slavery, and we did not learn from our ancestors. We did not honor our ancestors' sacrifices and the values that they gave us. So those who are saying 5 more years upon them, I need to tell them they're also adding 395 years on us. They don't learn, they will repeat. Thank you. That's all I have to say.
Good morning, Mr. Amsterdam and viewers. I'm giving thanks and praise for the hard working leaders in the APNU. They did work and they work hard. Dr. Hines cry, he plead, he beg, and many others for us to come together to make this thing work. But everyone was coming to the table with a demand. I want this, I want that. And at the end of the day, when we are out, not even as the opposition, then is when they realize that it's two Indian man, and they has no one now to blame for say, oh, he dead and he doing nothing. Oh, he dead there and he weak. He's a wimp. He is a this. He a Bamba Mali. And all these things, they have nobody. Because none of the two Indian men that would be sitting in parliament would come out and lead them into a protest. Then is when they realize they're on their own. They're on their own. They didn't come out and vote. Then they split the vote. And many was calling, split it all, we go in, split it. It's split. All of us are in? No. No. And what it end up, we have to pay for our own downfall. But I have in my heart that one day we're gonna rise. You know why? Because when we start eating the grass and we start eating the sand, the stone and the whatever, and it ain't going down, we know that we got to get up, rise, and fight for betterment.
Morning, Brother Kidaki, morning viewers, morning Guyanese. First of all, I must big up the opposition, all that they have done during this election. You understand me? Big up. Being just strong, you got to regroup and come again. You know, man. You know what? One thing I have to say, man, this election was rigged from top to bottom. And I hope the observers them in this country, when they go back, they write a damn proper report, you know, man. And all those people you see work for GCOM, all those GCOM top dogs, they need to be all charged for treason. Because they're the one that compromised with this election, that installed back this PUP government back in power. They need to be all for treason. Yeah, I can remember when the AG said anybody that catch doing anything towards the election, how much fine I have to pay, how much year they got to spend in prison. Come on, bro. It backfire. It backfire and the culprits them. We see the people them that talking about the opposition rig election. We see who is the riggers now. These people cannot win Georgetown. Don't care what they think that they do to this country. And Georgetown, they can never ever go back, see back power. You understand me? These people rig this election from day one. From day one, you see, Claudia saying, yeah, all this issue on all this issue election day, wrong election time. That is what they was doing all the time. What's the most problem we get during election night, day and night? Come on, bro. Ballot box this, ballot box this ballot box, that container. Come on, bro. And I hope that this observer go back and write a proper report concerning what happened to this election. This election corrupt. This election corrupt from top to bottom. You see these same small parties where you see tarnish the image of the PNC and the APNU. Waiting for y'all. You know, a rule waiting for y'all. You saw when competent y'all come there, y'all fighting for power, Simone Booms and Amanzo. You see where y'all, you see where y'all get zero. You see where y'all get zero. And this guy from Linden, you make Amanzo come and take over your party. And she got in parliament and y'all gotta stand up, gotta sit down out there watching she. Pastor London. What's really wrong with y'all, man? Y'all got the heart for people in this country. Y'all got no heart for people in this country. Y'all got heart for y'all bloody self.
It's 20 minutes past the 9 o'clock hour. It's time for me to leave you. I will certainly do so. Do have a pleasant rest of the day. Let us take control of our emotions and our faculties and return to the drawing board and plan the way forward. I have a plan. Most of it I'm not going to be discussing publicly. There's some of you who I will be reaching out to privately. And there's some calls I will be making publicly. It's as simple as that. We have to return to our communities. We have to strengthen our communities. We have to strengthen our people. And when we strengthen our people, hopefully our people will give birth to stronger organizations. And hopefully at some point in time, we will recognize that love and unity has to be our answer. And we have to respond to the forces that be when the time is necessary and however it is necessary. Y'all have a good day. Much love. Those of you who have supported Club Twilight and Lou's Kitchen over the years, we are going to be expecting you to continue to support Club Twilight and Lou's Kitchen. I have more energy to spend in that direction. Oh, I see a number of persons are saying they would love to see me in Parliament. I would love to see me in Parliament because being in Parliament is part of the plans I have for regrowth and rebirth and rejuvenation. But of course, at the end of the day, I have to wait to see what the political bigwigs will decide. And then too, I will have to make decisions on that. So y'all have a good day. Let us watch the process. I am not going to jump ahead and say to anybody this or that. I simply have to wait and watch, and then whatever comes out of it, we will talk about that too. I'm a public figure. I'm your person. I'm your servant. I don't keep secrets. I keep my personal life personal, or I try to keep my personal life personal. And so anything that will impact you, I will make you aware of it. So when we come to the point of who's going to Parliament and why they're going to Parliament and so on and so forth, that's a matter for you too, because you're a citizen and you've been behind this campaign and behind the giving us support and all things. And so I definitely will have to come to you and say, well, these are the decisions in terms of who's going to Parliament. Take time. I love you. Tough love is love too.